What is up, everybody? How is it going? Austin Prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. So, as you are tuning in, let me know how your day is going in the comments if you're watching this at a later time. Hashtag replay, so that way I know that you saw it. Let's jump into this, guys. Let's jump into this. Today, we're going to be talking about why I feel like, and not just I feel like, it is like, this is my opinion, I guess. But when it comes to like fat loss, when it comes to weight loss in general, and trying to reach weight loss goals, don't prioritize cardio. First and foremost, do not prioritize cardio. It is not where you should be like seeking the majority of your progress from. Like you just shouldn't. And just to lay it out in a little scenario, and just kind of give an example. So who here, if you're watching right now, has thought, okay, if I want to lose weight, I just need to do more cardio. If I want to lose weight, I just need to do more cardio. If I need to lose weight, I see people doing cardio on the treadmill all the time. I see people there at the gym all the time doing it. Like, that's what I got to do to reach that goal. And a lot of times people think that there's that whole like don't be a cardio bunny mentality, but when it comes to actually like wanting to like lose weight and lose fat consistently and for the long term, cardio is not the way to go, especially at the beginning. It's not. It should be more of a last resort in a sense, unless you just really like cardio. And just to give you an idea of this, like this example, I go to the gym every morning, pretty much 6 days a week, and every morning, I see regulars there. I see a lot of new people there coming in and out of the gym. And one thing that I've noticed, like night and day, like difference since December has come around, since like Black Friday sales for like gym memberships and stuff have gone on. A lot of new members joining gyms at in preparation for New Year's. There are so many more people doing cardio, like so many more people on the treadmills. Why? Because they think that is what's going to get them the results that they want. And I hate to break it to you, but that it can only help so much, right? Cardio can only help so much, and nobody wants to be doing like they're far and few between people probably want to be doing 60 plus minutes a day on a treadmill, right? Because this is going to be something that you might not know, but you cannot outwork a bad diet, right? You cannot outwork a bad diet, which kind of leads me to my next point. But before I get into that, though, is just like when it comes to weight loss and fat loss, like you see so many people doing that, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm noticing that trend, and that's why I want to talk about this today. Was just because there's just so many more people at the gym right now, doing cardio. Not. You don't see a whole lot more people doing strength training, right? You don't see a whole lot more people doing strength training right now. Which I kind of wish. I mean, I'm kind of glad for because I get the equipment more to myself, but in a more selfless, coming from a more selfless place, it's like more people should be doing that strength training if their goal is fat loss, if their goal is weight loss in general. And cardio, at the end of the day, it can only do so much. And that kind of, like I said, leads me to the next point. Is just like you cannot outwork a bad diet, right? You cannot outwork a bad diet. There are tiers to this stuff in terms of the hierarchy of what you should try to focus on at first versus towards the end of like your weight loss phase to try and continue to break past plateaus. Every single thing that you do, every single thing in this hierarchy that I'm going to kind of lay out here is probably like what you should try to follow when it comes to trying to break past plateaus and make continuous progress. But the problem is that a lot of times people like flip that hierarchy and or it's like all jumbled up and they don't really know what to do, and so they're just trying stuff. They're just trying to like they're just like, okay, I know I got to lose weight, or I know I want to lose weight, so I'm just gonna do a shit ton of cardio. I know I'm gonna I know I want to do this or that, so I'm just gonna drastically drop my calories like crazy. And that is not how you want to do it. If you want to do this for a long time and get consistent results and not rebound and snap like a rubber band and like like gain it all back, you need to focus on this kind of hierarchy I'm about to lay out for fat loss, for weight loss in general. And cardio is not at the top of that list. So, and I'm going to say it too. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing cardio. If you love cardio, like, it's good for your heart health. If you love cardio, like, go for it. Like, do as much as you want. But if you feel like it's going to be the source of getting results in your journey, it is not. You are far from wrong, or you're far from. There couldn't be anything further from the truth. That's what I was trying to get at. And so the thing that you got to ask yourself is like you got to do what's most sustainable for yourself. And here's why, cardio is not the best way, right? You need to save the cardio for when you need it the most in this hierarchy of tools to lose weight and break through past plateaus and break through these fat loss plateaus. Like there's that hierarchy. Each of these things I'm going to lay out are tools. These are just tools that you can use at your disposal, but you can use them strategically so you're, one, not miserable for the throughout the whole process, and two, it's going to be like more reasonable and more like it's going to be more time efficient and just better for you overall. So what you want to do, right? First and foremost, like if you have a desk job, right? If you have a desk job, you're super sedentary throughout the day or whatever it may be, every single person should be trying to hit at least somewhere between 7 to 10K steps a day. Like just in general, just to get just to be like active, right? To be an active person, to not let being sedentary, having a sedentary job, hold you back in a sense by keeping you really, really sedentary. So like if you're somebody and I'm not saying like go out and bust out like 60 minutes of cardio like in a day to try you don't have to be like that. You can do like 10-minute walks. You can do like a walk after lunch, like just walk around your house a little bit more, like at the end of the day, like simple things that don't take a whole lot of an hour and a half on the treadmill at the gym. Like that sounds terrible, but doing like a 10-minute walk here and there after a meal, like that seems way more sustainable long term. So trying to hit a step goal for the day is very helpful because that's basically ensuring that your body's getting at least like a good level amount of activity to help regulate and help kind of burn calories and things like that throughout the day. So you're not just being super sedentary and not utilizing the food that you're eating on a day to day. And in doing so, you're being more active. So you're gonna burn more calories and actually reach your goals. That should not be that's just kind of like an underlying goal that you should be striving towards, like anywhere from like 7 to 10K steps a day. Like that's a good general rule of thumb that you can try to follow. But on top of that, though, cardio should not be the primary source of trying to lose weight. It should not. When it comes to trying to lose weight, what we need to really focus on is calories, right? Your goal should be to be able to eat as many calories as possible, eat as much food as possible while still losing weight in a sustainable range, anywhere from half a pound to 2 pounds lost per week. Or if you want to break it into like a percentage, you can as well. That's just a good general rule of thumb that's easy to digest. But half a pound to 2 pounds lost per week, like that's sustainable. If you're going more than that, unless you're over like 250 plus pounds or 300 plus pounds and above, you probably shouldn't be trying to lose more than 2 pounds per week, especially after the first couple of weeks. So sometimes you see like an initial like crazy drop because you're doing a lot of the right things at the same time when you're first starting a journey, and so that can happen. That's okay, but half a pound to 2 pounds lost per week. How are we going to do that? That hierarchy. Nutrition, first and foremost, is the number one way that you're going to lose weight and prioritize like fat loss overall. Nutrition, right? Getting enough calories, being in a caloric deficit, but not so severe of a caloric deficit that you shrink your wiggle room for weight loss. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go from eating 3,000 calories a day to eating 1,200 calories a day. Your body's going to hate that. Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of weight like for the first week or two or maybe even month, but guess what? It's unsustainable. You're going to hate your life, and what's also going to happen is that you're not going to be able to maintain that for very long, and your body's going to be like, oh shit, we don't have any food? What is going on? Is there like an apocalypse? Are we starving? Are we like lost out in the desert? What is going on right now? Like your body's going to do that. It's called metabolic adaptation. It's not going to do it really freaking quickly, but it's going to do it way quicker than it would have if you go from 100 to 0 than if you were to tier it out over time and do incremental caloric drops, right? So that's how, that's the first thing is incremental caloric, being in a caloric deficit incrementally over time and reducing your calories once you stop seeing progress in that sustainable weight loss range, right? So that's the first thing. So that's the first thing of the hierarchy is, you can implement nutrition, so caloric deficit. On top of that you should be doing in tandem, strength training. Strength training actually doesn't burn that many calories, right? Strength training actually doesn't burn that many calories per session. It really doesn't. It's a fairly inefficient way to burn calories. But what it does for you, if you're watching this right now, if you do strength train, what it does is it stimulates your body to produce muscle, to build muscle, basically, to build muscle. And so, in doing so, what you're doing is you're increasing your lean body mass. And by increasing your lean body mass, your body requires more calories to maintain that. And in doing so, you're going to be burning more calories in general on a day-to-day basis the more muscle that you have. So strength training is super important, and it's great for your health too. There's a lot of other things besides just burning more calories from it in the long term versus the short term, right? So strength training is super important. So like you should be like, if your primary source of weight loss and fat loss is, it should 100% be through nutrition and strength training. It just should be. So that's like kind of the hierarchy. Then after that is all said and done, right? Then if you're doing those two things properly, right? If you're strength training, you've got proper nutrition going on, and you're not dropping your calories like crazy and crashing your your wiggle room for weight loss, right? If you don't want to crash that, what you do next is then you can start to implement cardio. All right, then you can start to slowly implement cardio. You don't want to go crazy, balls to the wall, like all of a sudden doing like an hour a day, right? Just start with just start increasing your step count by like 1,000 or 2,000 a day, right? Or not a day, but like on a weekly basis, right? That could equate to increasing, doing an extra 10 minutes of cardio, like 3 or 4 times a week, maybe max. Like you don't have to do that much. And then over time, like if you're like, okay, cool, like that ensures that you're hitting that like relative level of activity that you want to be hitting. Then once you move past, like once that stops working, you're like, oh, I stopped seeing results. I hit a plateau. Okay, then what do I do? Okay, well then it's time to start doing, instead of like 10 minutes, bump it up to 20 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day or whatever, like the equivalent that would be to steps. So like 1,000 or 2,000, another 1,000, 2,000 steps. Okay, cool, nice, that's awesome. Like, and there are different ways that you can swap it out depending on how you're like actually feeling, like how much you like it. If you really like cardio and you're like, I don't honestly want to cut my food down anymore, but I do want to keep losing weight. At this point, cool. Just do you can start to implement more cardio like in your day to day if you want to, if you don't want to lower your calories anymore. But there are tiers to this. There are like different ways that you can incorporate this into your fat loss or weight loss plan efficiently and sustainably, so you're not just like slamming yourself into the ground trying to like lose weight. Like they're go for long term. Go for long term. If you try to do short term shit, you're gonna shortcut yourself and you're gonna burn out and you're not gonna maintain it. You're just not. Like very very far and few between people can do that. Like almost like I really like show me an example of somebody who's done that, who has not rebounded or like lost all their progress and then some, or a majority of their progress a year later. Like I truthfully, I don't know anybody. Like I don't know anybody. And so yeah, so just keep that in mind. Like you just got to keep that in mind, guys. Like you got to go for the long term. But does that make sense? Because like that's sort of like the hierarchy of how you should go about it when it comes to your fat loss or weight loss journey, and implementing a reverse diet at some point as well. Like implementing a reverse diet, that might not be a bad idea either. Once you've exhausted your resources in terms of your you're like, shit, I'm doing an hour, like I'm doing a half hour of cardio a day. Like my calories are stupid low. I feel like shit. I'm mentally and emotionally and physically exhausted. Boom, time for a reverse diet, and then you can build all that stuff back up, and then you can start over where you basically plateaued the last time, and you might you're gonna gain like 5 pounds probably, but that's fine because you're gaining 5 pounds so that you can lose another 20 later. Like that's pretty freaking worth it to me if you ask me. So that's all I got for you guys today. But that's why cardio should not be your main source of losing weight. It's I see so many freaking people doing it, but that's because that's you don't know any better. That's not it's not, it is your fault because you haven't got the right information yet. But ignorance is bliss, right, in a sense as well. So it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, now you know, so take what I said and implement it into your own journey. Don't be a cardio bunny, burning yourself out. Strength train, go lift some freaking weights, eat less, not an ass load less, but eat less, right? Eat less than what you're doing right now, and see the progress. Go for the long term, not the short term. Go for the long term, not the short term, and you will be happy. Because you'll be happy and it's sustainable and you'll be enjoying yourself the whole time, you're not going to quit and you're not going to be as like likely to fall off the wagon because you're not going to be like miserable the whole time. So that's how I'll go about it. If you have any questions about this, feel free to ask me. But let me know if you're watching right now what your number one takeaway was. Feel free to give this video a like. It helps other people see this video in the algorithm. And yeah, so other people can take advantage of this information. Tag some people if you feel like they get value from this in the comments. Share the video, whatever it may be. But either way, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was useful. You guys have got this shit. January is coming. January is coming. Start before January though. Like, don't wait until January. Don't set yourself back 5 to 10 pounds between now and then by like going crazy on the holidays. Like start off on the right foot. Get familiar. Like I did a live last week on this. Like start now. Success like speed. Start learning how to do this shit now, so that way you're not overwhelmed and thrown into the gauntlet like January 1st. Like set yourself up for success. Like recognize that if you start now, you're going to be way ahead of the game and you're going to be way more likely to actually achieve your goals for you and not for a stupid holiday, right? For not a freaking holiday that literally means nothing. So, yeah. Other than that, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope that this was helpful, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, everybody.